All right, now I've brought my background kind of cloud assets right into my stage. And the reason I did that was just to see what is the extreme I want. So if I look at my sketches, what is the most extreme? Come on, show me my sketches. There we go. What's the most extreme weather I want to get to? You know, as the clouds come in and dark and stormy, and then the sun starts to break. So I want to find that pivotal moment. And so I brought in all my texture fill assets from assignment 1. And if my creature is on top of it like that, let's put it in a more normal position. He looks a little weird, right? Like he's unaffected by it. So I can actually move all of these up on top of my creature layers and just underneath my black rim there. And I can see how that really starts to affect my creature as well. And then I can layer it with these different amounts, right? Now my favorite layer is this. Let's see, which one is it? Should have labeled it better. Let me go back to my background assets, see which one it is. Not that one, assignment 1. Because the one with all the clouds that can move. Oh, it's this one. Yes. Okay. So one thing I can do is simply, whoops, let me turn off auto select so I stay on the layer I want to select. That's the problem with texture fills. So what's nice is I can move these clouds in all these different frames and kind of have these clouds change position and get more and more stormy as we go. But I want to make sure they're kind of nice and soft at the bottom. So I'm cleaning up these assets so that they're easy to use, just erasing that bottom out. Soft edged eraser, nice and big, so you get a lot of ghosting. Let's do this edge as well. So if I was doing a hurricane coming in where buildings were toppled and water was flooding the streets, I'd first want to build all the assets I need to really show what that worst case scenario is. You know, the picture that's in the middle of the transformation, because what I'm really transforming is the background. So here is just fog rolling in, which isn't that dramatic. So now let me think, okay, so if these clouds are moving, and that's really dramatic. Do I want those clouds to be dark and stormy? And if so, then let me change them. So I'm going to go to Adjustment, go to Levels, just like I did for the overall background, and I'm just going to deepen the midtones. So their brightest bright isn't any brighter, and their darkest dark isn't any darker, but now their midtones are all a lot stormier. And I can also limit their highlights. And I can even increase the depth of their shadows, if I like. Now, I don't love all the blue in there, though, so I'm going to... I'm not sure what I'm going to do, actually. Yeah, I can do this. Okay, so I'm going to use the magic wand, and I'm going to select with contiguous unchecked all those blues, and then delete them. No, that's too strong. All right, I want to desaturate them. No, that's too strong. All right, this is a good case for an adjustment layer. So over the top of everything, you know, I have my black border, which I'm going to actually grow a little bit using transform and option. I'm going to squeeze it in just a little bit. This is that black border I created, and this is why I like to do that. And I'm going to fill that whole area the extra area with black. So I've basically just cropped in my frame a little bit. Whoops. Let's have contiguous checked again and get this outside space and then fill that with black. But the other reason I like to do that, have this layer on top, is it shows me my kind of dividing line. These are the things I want that are on no matter what. I'm going to make it gray. And so above this now, I'm going to do what's called an adjustment layer. I can go up to Layer, say New Adjustment Layers. The shortcuts are right here. And I'm just going to do a color balance adjustment. And I'm going to call this After the Storm. Actually, I'm going to call it During the Storm. Because I want to take out those blues from the sky. And it's not enough to just do it for the sky here, so I can see the blues. I don't want color balance. Whoops. I want saturation. So, Layer, New Adjustment Layer, Hue Saturation. During the Storm. Okay, and I'm going to take just the blues, and I can really saturate them, or I can desaturate them. And that's what I want to do. And maybe darken them a little bit. That's what the storm is going to do. And now with the color balance one, maybe I want to make it all a little bit kind of bluer or more cyan, especially in the shadows. Let's really make those shadows kind of bluish and deeper so it looks more rainy. All right, so now I have those adjustment layers up above my, my border. I'll call it my film border. It's always good to have a little bit too much and to crop down to it so you can control your edges, because often the edges have glitches and are screwed up in animation. All right, so I'm being very careful here. So is that the most stormy I want? Maybe. The clouds darken, stormy. I think I need some rain texture, and so we can also go outside and find some texture fills. Remember, texture fills do not need to be high resolution to be useful. And I want them to be photos, so I'm going to do type photo. Very nice. Designers are so great. They make everything available to us. And this is, I think, the one I'll use. Let me see if there's any others. Yeah, a lot of them are just rain on the windows. That makes sense. I want it to look like kind of a dark downpour. Good, good. Make sure it's not too terrible. It's tiny, but it's not terrible. Save that to the desktop. It's coming in. Now I'm going to move that, drop it on top. Underneath my film border, but on top of everything else. Or maybe beneath everything else. There's just lots of different options. I can stretch it out to fill my frame. I'm going to teach you a little organic trick that works wonderfully with water and with flames. I'm just going to make it shimmy a little bit. All right, so first, I need to rasterize it, so it's actual pixels I can use. And then I want to find underneath all these textures. Ooh, very nice. Yeah, cool. The overlay that's going to work best. And the opacity. So it kind of looks like it's raining there, but let's see if there's an overlay mode that works. Maybe soft light. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I could probably take the opacity up a little bit. Oh, it looks very rainy. I like how you have a direction to it. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate that layer and make an additional asset where I just stretch it. It's a little bit more difficult because it's at an angle. So not only am I going to stretch it, I'm going to extend it and then rotate it a little bit so it matches the original angle a little bit more. And I'm going to turn off the soft light because I don't want it to double itself up. So instead I'm just going to keep it at a low opacity. So maybe 13, and then this one 16. And the trick is you can just flicker them back and forth between just a few different ones. So now let me duplicate it again. Command J. Remember, just building assets. Transform it. Change its scale. Rotate it a little bit. Just going between these three, I can kind of show that rain really coming down. Okay, so I'm going to label all my rain layers. Let's see, let's make it violet. Okay, and I have my cloud layer. The reason I put these clouds behind is because I want the rain to kind of be on top of those as well. But these clouds, this is my storm coming in. So I'm going to label that separately. Maybe yellow. And then I have all my texture fills. And then my adjustment layers. So all of these things will help build my storm. Okay, so I've got all of those. This is how I'm going to do it this time, just to kind of show you the whole range. I'm going to build it in the timeline. I'm being very brave. So I brought in those background assets onto my stage. They're all free floating. I'm going to save it there. And now I'm going to show my timeline. And I'm going to make my frames from layers. To kind of test it. There's so many different ways you can do this. And instead of worrying about that first section, I've already finished that. I know that works. Let me just get to the last. So it was panel 9, I guess 10 here. Yeah, I got to get rid of these extras. So I'm going to delete up to panel 9, just the frames, not the layers. Remember, don't hit delete, only drag down. And then it was, let's see. This layer that goes with 9. There it is. So I don't need any of these. And instead, with panel 9, I'm just going to have that guy show up. And by clicking that layer on, it turns him on in every layer. And that's what I want. So now I have the sky darkening a little bit. And now my next frame, what do I want? Well, I want that dark sky to show. So now I'm going to set up my shot frame per frame. And then I want the clouds, maybe not to be there yet. I want these texture fills to start turning on. So first the subtle ones. Actually, let's start it back there. So the texture fills on for there. Now this one, the texture fills on, but I want it at a lower opacity. Now for this one, I want those two on. I need the background on for all of them, so let me just select them all.